This is 20M, and he's a very special cow. This is full-blood Japanese Wagyu beef on a farm north of Woodstock, the largest Wagyu operation in Atlantic Canada. These cows are genetically different because of fat marbling in their muscles and because of how they're treated here.
Come here. Come here. Hi. So what that does is it provides a completely different experience when you eat it. It's going to have a rich flavor, buttery flavor. You should be able to cut it with the side of your fork or with a butter knife. This is one of our cuts called the Denver steak. So you can see the really fine intermuscular fat content that's in there. That's what's going to give it that buttery, rich flavor when you bite into it.
Chefs around the Maritimes who want to offer their customers something a bit different, something special, have been contacting Jessica Furnett in the last few months to place orders.
They think because of what happened on the news, seeing the Premier sign all of those interprovincial trade barriers, that now we have the capacity to send to them. And unfortunately, that's not the reality. We are not able to send them our product right now.
The inspection of meat processing facilities is a provincial jurisdiction. But if the meat is going to be sold across provincial borders, then it comes under federal jurisdiction. And the meat has to be processed in a federally regulated abattoir. And in this region, the closest one is in Prince Edward Island.
So it's easier for them to get Australian Wagyu imported than it is to get it from New Brunswick from us because we are provincially regulated.
It seems wrong to me that I can access mostly anything I want all around the world, but yet I can't use a local farm that's doing great. Like in the same, in the Maritimes. It just seems strange and weird to me why these strings are being pulled, but yet, you know what I mean? It just doesn't really connect in my head, right? I don't know. It seems wrong.
I think these should be almost done. They're looking good. Ready?
Yep. Yeah, definitely different. I get it.
I get it. You're in.
This is the Atlantic Beef Products Abattoir in PEI. A long trip for Furnett's Wagyu to get that federal inspection she needs to ship outside New Brunswick. She says her small volumes make it too costly, and the same goes for the cold storage requirements under federal rules.
We're a small operation of a very specific product that needs to be processed in a very specific way, and it's just not economically feasible for us to use the federal abattoir.
Furnett has her own small abattoir and butcher that produces cuts for sale at farmers markets, to restaurants, and via shipping. All of it New Brunswick only.
The problem is that these rules exist because not every place does take the utmost care with what they're doing and what they're producing.
This 2022 report from an independent think tank traces just how complex the issue is and points out that not every small farm will be as careful with its product as Birds Hill. The other complication is the federal standard applies to international imports of meat. And so if Canada allowed meat to travel across provincial boundaries just with provincial inspections, a country like China, for example, could also demand the same less stringent treatment, and that could trigger a trade dispute.
If you look back at communiques from federal, provincial, territorial agriculture ministers' meetings over the last 20 years, this is something that every 2 or 3 years is a major issue around that table, and they're going to try and take it and fix it.
Possible solutions include harmonizing provincial meat processing rules with the more stringent federal ones.
Can we create a situation where we've got a national standard that's clear, that's well identified, that's well understood, that protects food safety?
So my hope was that we would hopefully be able to develop a memorandum of understanding where Nova Scotia would say, well, if your beef's good for New Brunswickers, then we, by default, say that it's also good for Nova Scotians, and vice versa.
The New Brunswick government told us this is entirely a federal issue, and all those agreements the province has signed don't affect these regulations. But Agriculture Minister Pat Finnegan said he'd raise it at a meeting of agriculture ministers this week. Federal officials did not respond to our questions. The moral of the story is, one person's interprovincial trade barrier can be another person's food safety regulation. And until those two concepts can be reconciled, the talk of true free trade between provinces is just talk.